All right, guys, so we're gonna start day one of our 7 days of stretching. The goal of this is every day to provide you with 10 minutes of stretching, and then by the end of the 7 days, you're gonna have a better idea of how to stretch your body, especially certain body parts. Then also, hopefully by the end of the 7 days, you're gonna feel a little bit more mobile. So today we're really gonna attack the hips and the lower body, and then each day we'll either focus on top half, bottom half, or maybe even a full body stretch. So day one today, we're gonna start with a 90-90 drill. So this is one of my favorite exercises or stretches to open up your hips. So we're gonna work both internal and external rotation of your hips here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sit like this, and we're gonna bring, with square hips, straight leg out, and then a 90 off of that. This back leg is gonna come straight off that square hip, and then a 90 back here. All right, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna keep a nice tall chest, brace yourself with this hand, and then we're gonna drive this front knee into the ground while also leaning in, thinking about pushing your belly button towards that leg, keeping a nice flat back. All right, so we're gonna hold this for about a minute. Again, continue to press that front knee into the ground and lean into it the best you can throughout that minute, prioritizing that nice flat back. Hold that pressure into the ground. You may start to feel some cramping in your back hip or even up in the front. That's okay. If you do, just kind of gently relax, release that cramp. Again, keep pushing that knee in. I know it feels like it's going nowhere, but it is doing some work there. Lean in a little further as you can. Tall chest, again, driving that belly button towards the knee. All right, now we're gonna gently come out of that. So we're gonna raise our back, and then we're gonna relax that front knee, all right? Next is gonna be our back leg. So we're gonna hold this same position, all right? Nothing changes except no pressure up front. Now we're gonna be focusing on the back. So we're gonna take that back foot and lift it off the ground and hold. Again, keeping that flat back. Shoulders are square to the ground, square to that front leg, hips are square, and then we're just holding that back foot off the ground if you can. You may not be able to get your back foot off the ground, that's okay. Keep trying. We're still working the internal rotation of that back hip. If you feel some cramping, just relax and get back into that stretch. Make sure you're breathing throughout all this as well. It's very easy to be thinking about what you're doing and forget to breathe, and that's important to the stretch as well. All right, gently let that foot down. And now, just to kind of show you what we did, we're gonna stand up, and then we're gonna do just a few air squats. So you should notice one side feels a lot easier. My left foot, for example, the heel wanted to come up. Right side feels good. That's because we worked external rotation of the right, internal rotation of the left, okay? So now we're gonna go back down and do the same thing on the other side. So again, 90 out front. My hips and my shoulders are square to the wall in front of me. My shin is parallel to my shoulders, and this back leg is coming straight off the hip, and then 90 back. Bracing my left hand now. Now I'm gonna drive my left knee into the ground, and then with that tight core, flat back, leaning into the stretch. Keep pushing that knee into the ground, even though there's nowhere for it to go. That pressure is doing the work. When you were a kid and you used to stand in the doorway and push your arms into the door, and you step outside and then the arms want to raise up, it's kind of what you're doing with your hip right here. Keep breathing, keep pushing. Drive that belly button a little further, lean in a little bit more. Keep adding to that stretch as you spend more time and get more range of motion. All right, now we're gonna gently come out of that, release that pressure nice and easy. And then again, onto the back foot. Now you may notice that one side raises higher than the other. That just means you have more internal rotation on that particular side. Again, prioritize tall chest, flat back. Everything's nice and square. Shoulders, hips, and front leg are all parallel. Continue to try to pull that heel off the ground, holding it. You might notice some cramping right here in the hip. Again, just relax and then get back into it if that happens. Breathe. Good, now gently relax. And then let's go back up and do a few air squats. So with this, you should feel good and loose in that deep squat now. Hips have been opened both internally and externally, giving good range of motion. All right, so our next stretch is gonna be the pigeon pose. We're gonna work on getting the piriformis, and this is a stretch that is commonly done wrong. We wanna make sure that we're keeping that nice flat back. Rounding over in this stretch is gonna minimize the amount of stretch. You'll lose that tension. So we're gonna bring right leg in. Again, hips and shoulders are square and to the ground. We don't wanna rotate onto our hip, or our hip onto the ground. We want that back hip off of the ground. And then we're just letting those hips sink into the ground. Lots of times you'll see people round over like this, and that's gonna lose the stretch. Keep that flat back and drive that chest forward. Feeling that good stretch across the top of your glute. If you don't feel it here, you can intensify the stretch by bringing that front foot forward. Again, don't bring it so far forward that it shifts you onto the ground. We want to keep those hips and shoulders square and off the ground. I'm gonna hold this. Keep letting those hips kind of passively sink towards the ground. Again, maintaining that good flat back. All right, now let's go ahead and switch sides. So bring your opposite foot in. Same thing. Bring that foot up as far as you can while keeping those hips square and shoulders square. You'll notice my hip is off the ground here. I don't want to rotate onto the ground. And then I'm not falling into it. Bracing myself, driving my belly button towards that front leg with a flat back. You'll know when you're getting the stretch. You'll feel it right across the top of the glute. All right, very good. Relax out of that. Now we're gonna go into another stretch. So we're gonna bring left leg in, and then with our chest square to our toe, we're just gonna allow that chest to fall in. So I don't wanna just curl over. Again, keeping everything nice and tight, driving our chest towards that knee, not just trying to drop your nose to it. So as you can, just kind of gradually fall deeper into the stretch. Should feel a great stretch in your hamstring here. And then switch sides. Good. We got the hamstrings there. Now we're gonna go for the quads. Now this one you wanna be nice and easy going into. If you have something to set behind you, that will work. But we're gonna lay back as far as we can. So your hips are on or between your heels. And then we're just gonna lay back. Should feel a good stretch throughout the quad. Again, if you can go further than what I am right now, you can place a wall ball or a pillow or something behind you that'll let you get a little deeper in the stretch, but still give you some support. As always, make sure you're breathing throughout all your stretches. Gradually letting yourself fall deeper into the stretch. This is also something you would want to do after a workout, not before. We never want to spend this amount of time in a static stretch before we go and lift weight. You can push those muscles beyond their natural desired length when you're lifting and get yourself in some trouble. So long stretches, static stretches, always good after workout. All right, come out of that. That's all I got for you today. Hopefully your hips, hamstrings, and quads feel a little more stretched now, and check back tomorrow for our day 2 of 7 days of stretching. Enjoy, we'll see you soon.